what would be a 18-year-old Divya tell? What should they do, or how, what kind of a career path that they should go? I know in the social media world today, everybody is running in a different race, but there are few people what I feel like they genuinely want to do. Like, there was a time in India people wanted to become engineers and doctors, but there were few people who wanted to become dancers
Yeah.
and so. So, what would you like to advise them?
So first and what very basic advice would be, don't take yourself way too seriously. Like if you have started studying in a specific field or industry, it's okay if you're liking it. It's okay if you're not liking it. As long as you are able to learn, explore, relearn, forget, discover new things and get on to place where you want to be, it's really okay. So if I was 18 years, I mean myself 18 years, I would keep myself the same because actually that's what I did. So my journey, what I have actually studied, of what I am doing right now is way different. And I have always tried to explore, and thankfully my parents were not really, how do you say, they wouldn't like not allow me to try different things. And as long as I am making some money, I am earning myself, I think we are good. It's you shouldn't just sit at home and think I am thinking about becoming something. Not that way per se,
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
as long as you're moving towards something, it's good.
Yeah.
Don't take this professional burden too seriously. Just keep trying more, because the more young you are, the more easier it is to fail and try more. The
Correct.
more ahead you'll get in life, your career, it won't be that easy because of various reasons. Your age factor, your family factor, your responsibility factor. So better try earlier
Yeah.
than later.
Absolutely. So, what does your kids do now?
So I have a 7-year-old son.
Okay.
He's playing at home right now, doing
Okay.
his painting and coloring and enjoying his summer vacation. And I am not enjoying the summer vacation sometimes. So that's what he's doing right now.
Yeah, so I think July, August, like, I used to always hear, I don't have kids of my own. So I used to hear July, August is the time where people go on travels and a lot of things happen. And this year, because of we being in so many networking clubs, and they all come with the family, children background, I can literally feel the difference कि ये होता है summer vacation.
ये होता है summer vacation. मतलब every now kids will like hang in with
Yeah.
you everywhere.
Yes,
Like
yes,
they,
yes.
but mine would not like sit.
Yeah.
Like he would, if he could sit somewhere like on the sofa and enjoy what mom is saying and just do his own thing and all that, I would love to bring him everywhere,
Okay.
just to show
He's
him
the
that
naughty one.
he's not really naughty, but he can't sit at one place.
Okay.
He's a very niceish boy, but he has something in his bum, like how do you say bum? It will always hop. He will always hop. So you can't just sit nicely. So that's what the thing is. And if he's sitting here 500 times, he has to say mama.
So I have this question, okay? You growing up and your child growing up, what are the differences you feel?
A lot, because today's kids are more abundant. They even though we don't show them how much their parents have, but they gauge it very easily.
Very easy.
And they are more global. They have because I am coming from a small town, so I used to be with surrounded with my own families and my cousins and everyone. So culturally we were not exposed much because there were only few kind of cultures that we could see around.
See around, yeah.
But these kids, they understand religion wise each other's religion. They understand each other's culture, and they understand that a different kid speaks a different language also altogether. So exposure wise, it's much different. Abundant wise, they are much more abundant. It is good and bad in a way. uh, Good in a way that if they have to do something good in life, and it's pretty early for me, but let's see how it goes. They are not doing something only for money, like just to earn a bit and just for the sake of competition and all of that. They might create something very good for the whole humanity as a race. They have that capacity because they are abundant. They are not worried कि कल का खर्चा कहाँ से आएगा.
Yes, that was the thing during our time,
Yeah.
One of the reasons I feel a lot of us millennials becoming entrepreneurs is during our childhood. This is what we have seen, that parents are struggling to give
Yes.
us the next day food or next month's expense.
Yeah.
Now work has become, it is there, but it is not physical work.
Yeah.
It's become more or less.
Yeah.
Whereas during our parents' time, they used to leave the house 7 in the morning, come back at 12 in the night.
Yeah.
And they used to do physical work.
True.
And
True.
that's something you said very true, is what I will say.
Yeah, so that's where I felt that it's a bigger change. But yes, I get scared that this abundance should not like affect him in a negative. That he's sitting at home and not doing anything when he grows up. So let's see.
Let's
He's
see how
too
it
young.
goes.
He's too
Yeah.
young for it.
But it's not just for him, it's about the entire kids and
Yeah.
how it is going around that, if people are able to, what we were struggling to get, and
Yeah.
the people are getting it easier way right now, they should make a positive use of it.
Exactly.
Tell us about corporate tax.
So, corporate tax is basically tax on the net profit. Okay. So, when you're keeping your books of accounts, so you make sales or revenue, in that you deduct all your purchases and all your expenses. So, that basically gets you to the net profit. I am putting it in a very simplified manner just to explain it, but that's how in gist net profit is. Then this is also called the taxable income as per the corporate tax law. So you pay 9% corporate tax on this. Now there is one more thing here. So till your net profit is 365,000, you will pay 0% corporate tax. Anything above that is when you pay the 9% corporate tax. So let's say your business is 400,000. So you will pay tax on 400,000 minus 365,000, the differential of 45,000. You'll pay 9% only on that,
Okay.
on the net profit. So basically, all the private companies in UAE need to register for corporate tax. So if you have formed a company, private company in UAE now, within 3 months you need to register. If you have your license from a bit longer, then there is a deadline guidelines from FDA. It's available everywhere on internet, so you just need to Google it. UAE corporate tax registration timeline. You will find it, and according to that, you need to register. Now, who all need to register and who all doesn't need to register? So there are many government entities and semi-government. They have their own rules, and obviously we don't belong to that category, so we don't need to worry about it. If you have a free zone license, if you have a LLC license, if you have a sole license but it is a LLC proper legal license, then you need to register for your corporate tax. There is something called qualifying free zones, and there are different altogether rules for it, but it depends. If you are in that category, connect with your consultant and he will explain you more on that. But something which is very common and many people should know about it is a natural person category. So if your license, on your license, if it's written sole establishment specifically or freelancer, if you have that specific license, which is in a kind of freelancer license, you are a natural person. You yourself are the business. It's not the LLC, it's not the legal entity, you yourself are the business. In that case, you do not need to register for corporate tax.
Okay.
Only and only when your threshold, I mean, what I mean is when your revenue or your sales, when it reaches 1 million dirham in a year, only then you need to register for corporate tax.
So this brings me to the next question. How is the profit calculated? Now, when I say because we have a lot of small business owners who might not have employee, but they are working 7, 8, 10 hours a day. So can we take salaries for ourselves?
Yes, the arm's length salary for a owner is allowed. Uh, Make a proper contract out of it. Uh, Give yourself a justified salary. I mean, don't give yourself exceptional salary just to reduce your net
What
profit.
is exceptional salary?
So let's say there is a digital marketing company. You just started 1 or 2 years back. You have few clients. I'm just saying a very initial stage business. Now, as an owner, you are, let's say, doing most of the work by yourself. You have 1 or 2 employees, but mostly you are doing it by yourself. Let's say your net profit at the end of the year is 400,000. And then if you are, just to avoid tax, if you are taking like, let's say, 40,000 dirham salary per month, that's not justified. Because then you will enter into net loss in a way.
Yeah.
So what will be your market salary at that current situation, at that current experience point, is called something called arm's length salary.
Okay.
You should be able to justify it. Let's say tomorrow I come and tell you that, Marina, you are taking way more exceptional salary. Go and find a company which will give you, for your experience, a similar salary.
Okay.
So that's the how do you say, the benchmark.
Okay.
So you have to identify how much will I get if I go to a market. If I go to market tomorrow and find a job.
And that way we'll have to put up our salary and deduct that in our profits, because sometimes like early stage of my career is the same thing that I was doing. I was not taking my salary.
Correct.
And I was considering the entire thing as the company's profit. And that time there was no corporate tax, so it was fine back then. But today, when there is corporate tax, then we'll have to justify our salary and take it, and then show what your profits or whatever will be
Whatever.
there.
Like, if you don't want to take it, it's up to you. But if you want to take it, obviously you should be working towards your business. Don't take it if you're not working towards your business, if you're just the investor. But yes, take it in a justifiable manner. If at all FT comes and audits you, you are able to justify each and every expense. Like, there should be bills for all your expenses. It should be specifically done for your company and not something beyond your company. And any assets are not your expense.
Okay.
So any, let's say, tomorrow you're buying few laptops for your business because you're into a digital marketing business. You are buying high-end laptops because that's how you need it. So let's say each laptop is of 5,000 dirham. So that will go in your balance sheet. That's your asset. That's not your expense in that
Okay.
month. And what you actually expense out is the depreciation on that assets. Basically, what depreciation is, that let's say whatever your value of your item is, whether it's a car or a building or furniture, laptop, anything, you keep deducting it in such a way that, let's say if you put a benchmark that this laptop will get redundant in 5 years, so you divide the cost of that product in 5 years and you deduct it monthly. This is a very simplified version of it. It doesn't always work like that, but just for explanation, I'm explaining what is depreciation. So you deduct only that much amount in a month for your product. You don't deduct as an expense the whole 5,000 of a laptop.
Okay. That's an interesting information. And I'm suppose, like, similar came for my furniture, because I have a lot of, so in the first year of my business, I have to invest a lot in my furniture.
Yeah.
And this is a very good point to
Yeah.
consider as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, should your accounts be on cloud?
Yes, absolutely. Because with today's age, today's time, and specifically for this part of the country, people are moving a lot. It's not the traditional way that you are sitting at one place and doing your business and looking at your numbers all the time. You need it on the go. Like, if Marina is sitting here, she's having three, you are having 3 locations. Now you should have your numbers in hand here itself. Let's say today you want to discuss a point with someone, or you want to decide on something based on your numbers, or let's say tomorrow you're traveling to India for few days, or let's say for a month for a break. Everything, if it's cloud based, it's easier to access. And for early entrepreneurs or startup, it's much more easier because you can raise invoice, you can raise quotations on the go. Let's say you are driving, you reached a client's location. Client says, okay, we are on. Let's send me your invoice. I will pay it and let's start the work. You're sitting there, can raise the invoice.
Yes.
You don't have to call your admin guy or your admin accountant guy back in your office. Then after 2 days, the invoice goes on. Then you go and check and everything. No, cloud based is always advantage in today's age. When it's possible, why not? It's very much convenient, and also it's very easy to use. It's nowadays softwares are pretty how do you say, user friendly. Even a startup would really get along with the softwares quite easily. So it's much more convenient and much more user friendly, I would say, even for accountants.
Even also with the AI world that we are in,
Yes.
jobs are replaceable. Should I replace Shahid?
No, absolutely not. The way Shahid is helping you to do the podcast, the way he is giving you confidence, AI wouldn't do it. So the human angle of the thing will never, like, every new technology or every new evolution always feared loss of jobs, but it never happened in human history. It's always created
More jobs.
more jobs. So people who are doing very redundant or monotonous job, they might need to fear, yes, or they might need to rather reskill themselves with something which is more advanced. So AI would, yes, definitely help accountants, and many good technologies are coming up in I mean, not technology, but many advancements are coming in AI. So yes, accounting is a big field where it is helping a lot, but it won't take away the job. You rather need to just reskill with it, and obviously you are the next AI guy to get the job.
Fantastic. It was lovely having a conversation with you. I know we just didn't do accounts. We got into a little bit of budgeting and driving on Dubai roads. So it's always an exciting topic for me.
Absolutely.
And so, guys, what I would say is if you would like to be the next guest and would like to come and interview yourself, what it does, it gives you exposure. It tells you that your story or what is there in your mind to a bigger audience. Right now, you might not feel the need of it, but like we said, AI is here, podcast is here.
Absolutely.
And I am Marina here, your most vibe girl person. So I can host you guys, and I would love anyone and everyone to come and become my next guest. And Divya, thank you very much. Her services are great, and she supports cloud businesses. And I know what it is that you should have a right accountancy in the beginning of your an entrepreneurial journey, not during or not after you have put yourself in a pile of paperworks. So head down, contact her. We are going to leave her Instagram handle for you guys. The code that we are going to use is called Procast10, and she's going to give you some amazing discounts for sure. Thank you so very much for being my guest, and hope you enjoyed it.
Thank you, Marina. It was really lovely talking to you, and I enjoyed the whole conversation a lot. Thank you for inviting me.